How to fix a Ninja broken indicator. In my case, the rubber absolutely disintegrated. First off, you will need to remove the seats. So I'll first get on with it. After this, you will need to remove these two grab handles. Each grab handle has this nut here and this nut here, so I'll remove them. I'm using a 6 number hex. Next, you remove the front seat by removing these two screws here. You need to remove the front seat because we want to remove this green fairing, the tailpiece. After that, the seat comes off easy. Then we start removing this part by first removing these two screws, this one and that one. For that, you will need a number 4 hex for this. These screws come with some plastic washers. Don't be careless to lose them. Yeah, and 2 more screws here also. The first 2 I removed from here, and 2 more now from here. After this, after the 4 screws come off, you just have to tap the whole thing behind. Like, you have to just pull it in this direction a little bit, and you see it coming loose. And after that, you just gently pull it apart a little bit, and you'll see it falls up. You'll see some stubs here, like this is why I was telling you to pull it behind. See, these stubs. For this reason, you have to pull it behind. So this is off. Just note, just above the brake lamp, there's a rubber here which is there to reduce the vibration noises. Don't lose it by mistake. It just sits here, that's it. So you just remove it during the work is going on. Next comes the removing of these 4 screws. The moment you remove this whole tailpiece starts hanging and dangling. Actually, it doesn't happen. There are some 2 screws inside also, which doesn't let it dangle, but at least it comes off from the main chassis frame, and the whole thing loosens up a little bit. For these 4 screws, you will now need a number 5 hex. Sounds as silly as it can be, but all different number of hexes you will need. You will notice that these screws are a little bit tight to remove, so put in the hex bit really properly and don't try to slip it. And when you reassemble it, also do put in a few drops of thread locker or Loctite, as they say. So now I have loosened a little bit. You will see that it has started jiggling. The whole assembly is now loosened up. I'll just remove it further. Okay, now the 4 screws are off. The tailpiece is all loose, but you will still see the whole thing is still hanging onto something. So that is just nothing but here you will see that the body here, there's just a plastic tab that it holds on to. You just pull this and it gets loosened. See, you see this small tape there. See, the moment I removed it, the whole thing fell off. There you go. Now the whole thing is accessible from the bottom. I'll just remove the key. There you go. Just don't tug onto it really hard. But now you have access to these two screws here. These two screws. The moment these two screws are off, this whole tail piece comes off. After that, but I think before that I'll just loosen off these electrical wires. As you see, there will be 3 wires coming, 2 of the indicators and 1 for the tail lamp. You just need to reroute, follow the path and remove the correct sockets. Yeah, sorry, you don't need to remove the tail lamp wiring. You just need to remove these 2 indicators wiring, and they are right here. Yeah, you will see that there's a small, I cannot get my camera right in here. Now you can see there, you press on this button or something, and then pull the wire out. Like once you press here, there's a lock that gets released, and after that you pull it. I cannot do it with one hand, so I have to stop the filming. And there, one comes off. So remember, the black one goes in the black socket, the gray one goes in the gray socket. It's that simple. Okay, after that you pull out the wires from the routing position. Remember to put them back the same way you remove it, because I'm not going to make a video of how to reassemble them. So there they come out, and they go in the same way they come out. There. Now I can, so you have to be careful. There are like the wires are routed so in these grooves here. So just remove them and keep a note from where you are removing. They'll not come out 100% right now, because first I have to remove these 2 screws. Okay, a very big screwdriver will not fit here, so remember to have some kind of a stubby screwdriver, or a ratchet like this, a small ratchet like this with a plus screwdriver bit. Okay, the moment the screws are removed, you will see the tail piece has now come off. It falls off, and now you just need to loosen the wires from this position so that you can easily remove the whole tail piece. There you go. There, it's out. Oh my god, there's one more wire. Ah shit. Yeah, it is of the number plate wire. That also needs to be removed. Okay, that wire is also off. Now remember that the number plate wire comes out from this hole, and the 2 indicator wires come out from this hole while you reassemble, and they get slotted into these grooves. When you open your bike, you will see those grooves in detail. Okay, the indicator tail piece is in my hand. The rest of the work is on the table now. Okay, the basic idea is to now split open this complete tail piece and divide them into 2 halves. For that, there are like 3 screws. One is here, one is there, and one is inside there behind the number plate. You will have to remove the number plate, you will have to remove the number plate bracket along with those 3 screws, and you will have to remove this reflector nut bolt arrangement here, and after that we'll split open. The number plate has bolts. That bolts come out from the back, and I'm removing them right now. Okay, now I've removed these 3 screws, 1, 2 and 3. After that you will see that this whole thing splits off really easily. That's how it splits. You will see the wire is held together properly with the help of this clamp. Just loosen them from there, and now this one separates off completely, and this one is off separate completely. Since my this indicator is absolutely broken, this will not come out that easily. Since the indicator is now broken, your broken indicator inside this rubber housing comes with 2 metal plates. One is this and one is this. Remember to not lose them, because you will use them in the new indicator. Now from Amazon I have purchased this replacement indicator, which has a good rubber housing and everything, and this is my old indicator, which is perfectly fine, only the rubber housing is damaged. So my idea is right now to use this indicator, as the shape of it is of the 2018 model, and the one that I got as a replacement is of the older 2016 model. So I'm planning to reuse the main indicator body of this indicator, of the old stock indicator, and just remove this rubber mount and use the rubber mount from this new purchase indicator. So I'll remove this. For removing this I have to just remove this screw from here, and this rubber comes off, and I will just put it here, and I'll put that screw here. Okay, I removed that screw that I was saying from inside, and after I tried to pull this out, okay, to get this metal clamp and this rubber out of, like, it's like worn around this wiring harness, and this head is bigger than the holes of these thing. So first I will have to remove these small clips inside this head. For that I'll have to put a needle inside here accurately so that this head comes off. Just I have to remember that which wire was where, so that it doesn't get mismatched when I reassemble it. Okay, I tried a lot of options like a needle, a mobile extractor pin, but nothing worked. Simply I just took a plier and I put it at this collar and I wanked it a little bit, and it came off. As you can already see, one of the wires is off. One has come off already, like this. The other one also needs to come out like this. Sorry guys, I'm trying it without a tripod. There you go. The hair is out. Once the hair is out, you then remove this. You're going to reuse this one. Remove each wire one by one. Remove the broken rubber. You put in the new rubber, this rubber mount. You reinstall the metal plate again. Okay, now you see that I have put the rubber tightly back into this. I have put the screw back in that metal plate, and this is a wire now, like this. Now this needs, I will insert it back into this plastic holder, the socket. Okay, I just inserted the metal plugs, the metal heads in the plastic plug, and I'm just gonna push it in, and it should like snap inside it. They have gone in, and now they are like well set inside it. Even if you pull it, it will not come out. See? So this indicator is now done. Now I will show you how to fix it to the main tailpiece body. You need to reuse these two clamps that came in with the original indicator. These are very useful. You rub the wire of the indicator from this hole first, and in this way, and you push this collar inside this hole. Okay, I pushed the collar inside the hole. So it should look from inside, it should look this way. You can see that a rubber collar here. Now I will take this bracket and I will first route the wire from this bigger hole. It should be facing this way. See, this is the nut. It should be facing this way. So now I'll show you what actually I'm doing with this metal plate on my spare rubber collar. Now this rubber piece is in my hand. What I did initially is I pushed this collar inside the hole, like this hole which I showed you first. It's now sitting like this, and now this metal plate which I showed you with the threading inside is supposed to sit inside this groove, here. See these collars, the small stubs? It's supposed to sit inside that. This is how it's supposed to sit inside that. The wire will be routed from this hole, and that's what I'm supposed to do it while this is sitting inside that, in that position. It's very easy, it's not that difficult. And once that is done, I'll take this piece and make it sit on top of this. You see this small hook? It's supposed to go in this hole, and this threading hole and this small hole is supposed to align. And once this sits here like this, see, this metal plate now sits on top of this, and this screw, now you're supposed to tighten on this. And once you do this, the fixing of the indicator on the tailpiece is done. There, that smaller metal plate is now well seated inside, and I will now put this bigger plate from on top of it, and I'll drive in that small supplied screw. Okay, you see the metal plate is now well seated inside, and the indicator is now absolutely perfectly sitting properly inside this tailpiece. I will just reassemble the other indicator in this similar way, and I'll install the whole assembly completely. Okay, you might find some challenge that to seat in this part into the whole collar. So what you're supposed to do is just make one part seat properly like this. For the other part, just use a flathead and into the groove. Just make some space there, and that's how it sits inside this collar. Okay, my other indicator is also now fixed in position. This is the other part. This is the other half. Now time to assemble the two halves. While you try to assemble the two halves, remember to route the wire of this side indicator through this small wire hook. Just a simple tip: before you reassemble the whole bike completely, just do a trial run of the wiring sockets once you join them back. In my case, everything is just fine. There you go, the bike is now completely assembled and is ready to roll. Thank you for being patient with my video. As far as I could, I just tried to detail it out, the disassembly part, and the assembly is just the other way around. Thanks again.